Good morning from sunny Florida. So just briefly, those of you that have been following this channel and have been following my builds will know the business originally was called Faithful Journey RV Services. Now the business changed name and it's now Faithful Journey Solar Solutions. And that's because I want to focus on providing the best RV and off-grid solar installations and consulting that I can. So behind me is my latest solar install project. This is a 2022 Forest River Rogue, and it's a bumper pull toy hauler. So my client came to me all the way from Alabama and said, hey, I need this is a system installed on my rig. Now originally he had planned to install the system himself, but later on decided, you know what, it's a little too much with wiring, so let me hire somebody to do it. He hired somebody near him to install it. Unfortunately, that installer ended up shorting out a bunch of the electrical systems in the coach, as well as ended up ultimately ghosting my client. So my client decided to contact me, looking for somebody that was reputable, that would do a great job getting solar installed in his rig. So as you can tell, being a bumper pull, being that it's a toy hauler, it's got, as commonly found in travel trailers, it's got two doors. Your main entrance door and then your door that goes into the bedroom. So let's go into the bedroom because that's where the system was installed. All right, so we're inside this RV now. I've got the door closed so the sun doesn't blind out the camera so we can actually see what we got in here. So here, this is the master bed. Now, yes, there is a sheet of plywood that goes in here, but I have it removed to make the installation of the equipment a heck of a lot easier. So you can see some of the old system that was junk that needed to be ripped out. But let me show you what got installed, and then I'll talk a little bit about why we landed on this spec for this RV. So over here on the right, we have our links distributor, we have our battery disconnect, as well as our smart shunt below the battery disconnect. And below that is we have our Servo GX. Kind of the brains, kind of keeps track of all of what's going on, and provides remote monitoring through the Victron remote monitoring service web portal. So if a customer does have issues, I can remotely connect in and try to troubleshoot and help them out. Moving over to the left, kind of down there, that white box, that's a breaker for the output of the Orion DC-to-DC converters, and that goes to basically the 12-volt side of the coach. Moving on over, we have our dual Orion 48 to 12 volt 30 amp DC-to-DC converters. They are connected in parallel. And then over here on the left, we have our solar charge controller, bringing in the 600 watts from the solar panels up on the roof. And then if we pan down, we can see our bus bars where the batteries connect into, as well as our dual 48 volt batteries with MRBF fuses to protect the battery bank. And then if we jump on the other side of this, and we'll go from the other side as well, and I'll show you, is we have our inverter. So let's talk briefly here about these Orion DC-to-DC converters. And I want to share this with you because I feel like it's good to educate and to share, because I'm sure somebody's going to comment on what the heck did I do here with these Orion isolated DC-to-DC converters. So let me show you here and then I will explain it to you. So these are isolated, so it means they have your positive negative input and your positive and your negative output on both. So what I've done is I've put them in parallel. And so basically the input from the links comes over to this stud here, and then from there to the input of both Orions. And then the output of the Orions, the positives, connect over to this bus bar, and then the output of that goes to this breaker, which then goes to the breaker panel box. But for you eagle-eyed viewers, you might notice or question what is going on with the negative side of these Orions. So basically the input negative on both and the output negative of both are connected to a bus bar, which go to the links distributor. All right, so let me explain briefly what's going on with these DC to DC converters, because I'm sure some of you are like, what did he do that? You're not allowed to do that. Is that okay to do that? So I'll just preface this with saying I verified with my Victron distributor who used to work directly for Victron, and he said this is a supported, or this is an acceptable way of using these DC to DC converters. So first of all, this is a 48 volt system, and I'll share a little bit why it's a 48 volt system. And Victron does not make a non-isolated 48 volt DC to DC converter. They only make an isolated version, hence why we ended up with what we ended up. So in a marine space, as explained to me as well, there's usually a lot of sensitive electronics, the CAN bus communications and that kind of stuff that's going on, where you would want to isolate the ground for those systems as to remove any interference in the marine space. We're in an RV. Basically, all the 12 volt stuff is already grounded to the chassis. And so for me to isolate the 12 volt of the DC to DC converter, I literally have to go around to everything and make sure that all the 12 volt grounds are no longer connected to a chassis, but connected to a common bus bar that is isolated from the chassis. So in essence, by doing what I did, is making the isolated DC to DC converter a non-isolated version. And it works just fine. There's no sensitive electronics in an RV that needs to have it isolated. And it's been tested, and it works, and it's working well. So, all right, so coming in on the bedside is we have the touchscreen. This is a Touch 50. This connects to the Servo GX, and this provides the information from the Servo GX in a graphical format. So you can see solar coming in, your battery status, your inverter status, kind of your AC and your DC loads, as well as any shore power. It was installed here on the bedside mainly because of ease of installation and running the cable, and the user was happy to have it here. The screen does turn off, and it does have a handy cover as well, so no need to worry about the screen disturbing your sleep at night, because it can turn off. All right, so let's walk to the other side and I'll show you the inverter. But why a 48 volt system? Well, in short, the previous installer spec'd a 48 volt system for my client. My client bought a bunch of the equipment and then realized the installer ghosted him. So that's why a 48 volt system. Now, would I myself have done a 48 volt system for this RV? No, because it's a 30 amp rig. So it means at most it uses 3,600 watts. So in terms of amperage from an inverter, you know, a 12 volt can easily handle that. Yeah, you get advantages with 48 volts. For example, the smaller diameter wiring and stuff like that. Yeah, I get it. 48 volts. 48 volts is great. But on a rig like this, for client, for ease of use, 12 volt would have been much better. But since he already had like those big batteries, which are an expense, I agreed to go ahead and use it and make a 48 volt system. So, and because we're doing a 48 volt system, I decided to take advantage of that for my customer. And we ended up putting in this here. This is a Multi-Plus 2. It's a obviously 48 volt, but it's a 5,000 VA inverter charger. All right, so as I stated, that inverter is a 5,000 VA, 4,000 watt inverter charger. So why did we go this route? Well, I figured, hey, if we're gonna go 48 volt, might as well maximize what we can use on our 30 amp coach. So 30 amp means you can use 3,600 watts. That's 30 amp. This inverter can put out 4,000 watts, meaning that if my customer wants, he can take advantage of all 3,600 watts without having to worry about the inverter running out of load. Now, obviously, if the inverter gets hot, it will derate a little bit, but not by much. There's plenty of space in here for the hot air to dissipate. 48 volt system, might as well make use of what we have, and as they say, make lemonade out of lemons, right? All right, so that is this system that I installed on this 2022 Forest River Rogue toy hauler. So to recap just briefly, it's a Multiplus 2 48 volt 5000 VA inverter charger. It's got two 48 volt 100 amp hour batteries. It's got two DC to DC converters that are 30 amps each, so 60 amps of output. He's got 600 watts of solar up on the roof, and he can basically run whatever he wants on this rig, and he's good to go. So my customer is happy. He's delighted that his RV has been in good hands, and they're going to be ready to hit the road when they come pick this up. All right, so if you're interested in getting solar installed on your RV, my contact details will be down below. We are now located in Ocala, Florida. We're 10 miles off of I-75. We're surrounded by plenty of RV parks, and I can come to you. If you have a small enough rig, like this one here, you can come to my house and we can get you taken care of. Just drop it off and we'll get it installed as this customer did. So I look forward to hearing from you, and if you liked this video, please thumbs up this video and subscribe to this channel, and we'll keep making more content and more videos as installs come through. Thanks for watching.